What's up, everyone? This is FP Sticks bringing you another episode of Top Battles of the Week, where I feature some of the best battles that have been submitted to me throughout the week from different members of the community. As always, if you would like your battles featured on this segment, you can send the footage to fpsticks@gmail.com, and there's info in the description on how you can submit that. But let's jump right into these battles. Up first, we have Final Boss AJ, who I believe is a Twitch streamer as well. She streams on Twitch, so feel free to check her out there. We have Alolan Ninetales into Venusaur. This is a Charm Alolan Ninetales, so this is really not that great of a lead. And she has two water types in the back, which is very, very rough to see a Venusaur in the lead here. Gonna throw this Weather Ball to get a shield burnt. And these charms, despite being resisted, are still doing a decent amount of damage. At least Gyarados has neutral play with this Venusaur, but this Frenzy Plant is going to be doing a lot of damage. Has to shield this up. Really just needs to mitigate the damage that Venusaur is going to do to the team. But out comes a Pidgeot. Going to throw an Aqua Tail and gets the final shield burnt. Farming, gonna throw an Aqua Tail, but an extra gust goes through. That is not great. Still has the Venusaur in the back, which is gonna do a lot of damage to the Blastoise and the Alolan Ninetales since shields are down. Has to bring out the Blastoise here to absorb this Brave Bird. Does massive damage. Most likely the Venusaur is going to be coming in. But they actually brought out a Charizard. And then immediately switches into the Venusaur here. This is most likely a Sludge Bomb. Gonna take out the Alolan Ninetales. Needs to farm down this Venusaur. And the Charizard in the back. It's a Dragon Breath. And this Blastoise is barely able to get to this Hydro Cannon to knock out this Charizard. Very good game. Up next, we have the C2U, who's actually a local community member of mine here in Colorado. Oh man, Registeel lead is not great. Gonna switch into the Jellicent and then hard countered with a Sableye. Now the nice thing is that Jellicent is barely able to get to this first Shadow Ball before the Sableye is able to get to this Foul Play. Looks like Desync CMP, but this matchup is so dominant for Sableye, especially if they shield once like that, because they're gonna come out of this with a lot of stored energy. This Shadow Skuntank, these Poison Jabs are resisted on the Sableye, but correctly shields up the return and has to farm up as much energy here as possible to have energy to threaten that Registeel late game. Down goes the Sableye, looking to immediately switch into the Sirfetch'd, and it's a Qwilfish in the back, but this Sirfetch'd does have a slight energy advantage. Now, the Qwilfish will outpace the Sirfetch'd to these Aqua Tails, despite the Sirfetch'd having this energy advantage. So gonna shield up the first Aqua Tail. Really needs to get to this Night Slash, but actually intentionally goes for an overfarm here to have some energy to threaten the Registeel in the back. So farming, knows that the Sirfetch'd is able to live this Aqua Tail and actually able to counter down the Qwilfish. Out comes the Registeel once again, able to get to a Night Slash here. Really needs to reach a move with the Skuntank, so gonna swap right there and able to get to this Flamethrower. These Poison Jabs are double resisted on this Registeel. And that Flamethrower is not enough to take out the Reggie, but luckily the Sirfetch'd is going to have just enough health to be able to counter down that Registeel and able to come back from that tough lead. Good game. Up next, we have Rogue Hogue, who's actually one of my patrons, so shout out to Rogue Hogue. Obstagoon into Wigglytuff. This is a disaster. And Wigglytuff for this team is actually a big issue because you're essentially double weak to it with this Jellicent and the Obstagoon. Luckily, this Jellicent is running Ice Beam, so going to be able to hit for neutral damage on that Wigglytuff. But you can see the charms are just completely shredding this Jelly here. At least gets a shield out of the secondary matchup and is going to guarantee that the Nidoqueen is going to see this Wigglytuff. So gonna bring out the Nidoqueen. This Ice Beam would do a lot of damage. Really hoping that the opponent does not switch out and preserve this, but they do, and out comes a Bubble Jellicent. Gonna go for a Poison Fang bait here. Hopefully gonna get a shield from that Jellicent, but the Jellicent does not shield and able to catch a move on the Obstagoon, but it's an Ice Beam. That is really bad. It would have been great if that was a Shadow Ball. That the Poison Fang defense drop now puts this Jellicent in range of Night Slash doing a lot more damage and potentially being able to counter down. Most likely another Ice Beam, but Nidoqueen is going to be the win scenario here, knowing that the Wigglytuff is still alive. So out comes the Wigglytuff, which just gives the Nidoqueen free farm, and in the back is a Bastiodon. One Earth Power does not one-shot this Bastiodon, so goes for the Poison Fang bait, but it's unsuccessful. One Earth Power will be lethal at this point because of the defense debuff, so going to go for another bait, gets the shield, really needs to get to this Earth Power here, is just a couple poison jabs away. Has to shield up this move from Bastiodon, able to get to this Earth Power because of the double defense drop. This Earth Power is going to be enough to take out this Bastiodon. Very good game. Up next we have Fareed 11. Sableye into G-Fisk. Fairly neutral lead here. Depending on baits and energy management, Sableye can potentially win this in the 2-shield. It looks like this Sableye is a little bit under-leveled though, at 30 CP. Oh, gets hit by the Earthquake. That's very bad. So going to switch in the Lantern. It's a Water Gun Lantern and hard countered by a Serperior. Lantern has nowhere to go in this matchup. Just has to let it go down. Not only that, but the Serperior gets extra farm here, which is much worse. Still has a fairly healthy G-Fisk to deal with, which Nidoqueen is going to struggle against unless it gets a nice energy advantage here. Has to bring out the Nidoqueen here, Shadow Nidoqueen, and needs to commit to the farm down here. So going to shield up this Frenzy Plant that would do a lot of damage, able to farm down this Serperior. What comes out? What is going to come out here? It's actually a Pelipper. This is really not good. Down a shield. This Pelipper is going to be able to spam these Weather Balls fairly quickly, and still has a very healthy G-Fisk to deal with. You got to get shields down here to potentially be able to land an Earth Power onto that G-Fisk. Gonna shield this up. Maybe the opponent switches right now to clear their debuff. That's exactly what they do. Out comes this G-Fisk. Is the opponent keeping good track of the energy here? You throw a Poison Fang and actually gets the shield. It was a CMP tie. This Sableye, you have to be very, very careful with your energy management here because you need enough energy to threaten the Pelipper. So overfarms the perfect amount, forces the CMP on this Rock Slide, down goes the G-Fisk. Out comes the Pelipper, and this Sableye is barely able to get to this foul play. Very nice energy management there. Good game. Up next we have Sushi Roll 824. Abomasnow into Nidoqueen. This is a fairly neutral matchup, but since you have two better responses to this in the back, going to make a swap into the Qwilfish. Looks like this Qwilfish is running Poison Sting as the fast move, so going to be able to get to these Aqua Tails very quickly. Knowing that this is just a Poison Fang, going to no-shield it. Very nice play. But out comes Umbreon, going to go straight for the Sludge Wave here. Qwilfish is pretty glassy. How much damage is this going to do? Does a lot of damage to that Umbreon. And just going to let this Qwilfish go. Up a shield. Most likely there's not a Grass type in the back because it would have came out right there. And now the Jellicent is going to be able to avoid this Umbreon, which is very, very good. Nidoqueen threw energy before it left. I like the overfarm here with the Abomasnow because these Weather Balls will be able to hit for super effective damage on the Nidoqueen. So very, very nice overfarm here. This Shadow Abomasnow is going to do so much damage when this Nidoqueen comes back in. There's the Nidoqueen. The Poison Jabs are hitting for super effective, but so is the Powder Snow, and the Weather Ball damage here gets the final shield and able to get to another Weather Ball here. This is going to do a lot of damage. And then immediately switch into the Jellicent to try to snipe it down, but only going to get hit by a Poison Fang here. Can comfortably no-shield it. In the back is an Azumarill. Does this Azumarill have Play Rough? Going to throw the Shadow Ball here, but the defense has been dropped, so this Play Rough damage, this seems like Play Rough here. It was at 6 bubbles. Has to shield it up, and it is Play Rough. This is really not good. You got to somehow get out of this matchup to clear your debuff. But keep in mind, the opponent still has the Nidoqueen with a sliver of health as well. So this end sequence here is absolutely wild. Jellicent is farming, anticipating the swap. The opponent is anticipating the swap as well. Simultaneous KO, and then switch into the Jellicent after the debuff has been cleared. Able to get to the Shadow Ball and take out the Azumarill. Beautiful play. Good game. Up next, we have Saad Munir. Sableye into Sableye mirror match here. Now, the opponent's Sableye is not purified, so they do not have access to return. It'll be curious to see what that secondary move is. Most likely Power Gem. So it looks like this is the Jason team of Sableye, Medicham, and Bastiodon. The opponent makes a swap into Mandibuzz, but able to respond without throwing energy into the Mandibuzz and keep the Sableye alive. Very quick response time here. Bastiodon into an Air Slash Mandibuzz is very favorable for the Bastiodon. We've seen Sableye, we've seen Mandibuzz. Most likely the opponent does not have a fighter in the back because they would be triple weak to a Charm user. So keeping this Bastiodon healthy, going to be able to get some neutral damage off on whatever comes in. And it is an Azumarill looking to actually preserve this Bastiodon. Looked like almost wanted to switch into the Medicham here, but going to throw another Stone Edge. This Azumarill is getting a lot of energy off on this Bastiodon here. This bubble damage is really adding up. This Bastiodon is not able to get to another Stone Edge, and the opponent farms the Bastiodon all the way down. So this Azumarill is definitely at 100 energy here. Still has the Sableye as a potential sack swap, but the opponent also has their Sableye as well. So brings out the Medicham and then sacks the Sableye here. Going to preserve the health on the Medicham. Catches the Play Rough. Out comes the Sableye once again. Shields up the Shadow Sneak, so that would actually do slightly more damage than the Foul Play, I believe, because it would hit for super effective instead of neutral. But the Sableye is able to get to another Shadow Sneak here. Going to throw an Ice Punch. And then burn the final shield. Needs to get to another Ice Punch here. These Shadow Claws are really adding up. Even got a little bit of stutter lag there. That is very scary when your Medicham is getting this low. Down goes the Sableye and able to counter down the Azumarill. Great game. Up next is Jose Pau 8. We have Nidoqueen into Medicham. And this is a Shadow Nidoqueen running Poison Fang, so this is favorable for the Nidoqueen as long as you don't get Power-Up Punch baited. But these Poison Jabs and Poison Fangs are really going to add up over time. Does have Mandibuzz and Jellicent in the back, which are also decent responses to this Medicham. So we'll have to see what the opponent wants to do here. They're going to let that Poison Fang go through and then brings out the Jelly to try to snipe down the Medicham. But now you're stuck against a Venusaur. Really not great. That Medicham is very low in health but does have stored energy. Gets the shield off of the Venusaur, but now this Venusaur really loaded up on energy. Nice counting by the opponent. Down goes the Jellicent. Luckily, Mandibuzz is going to be a pretty solid response to this Venusaur here. The Sludge Bombs will be hitting for neutral, but it's going to take like 3 Sludge Bombs to knock out this Mandibuzz. Going to Overfarm. Aerial Ace is such a terrible move that it's actually not going to be enough to take out this Venusaur. Trying to commit to a Snarl down on this Venusaur to leave the Mandibuzz with minimal energy to be farmed, but not able to Snarl down before this Venusaur is able to get to another move and actually totally lets the Mandibuzz go. Is going to put it all on the back of Nidoqueen here. It's an Azumarill in the back. And the opponent actually catches the Poison Fang. Really nice play from the opponent there. Sacks the Medicham perfectly. Times the throwing of this Poison Fang to not let any extra bubbles through. But this is going to be very, very close. Nidoqueen needs to survive this bubble damage, able to get to this Poison Fang, and with the defense drop, this is going to be just enough damage to take out that Azumarill. Very close game. Good game. Up next, we have BH0517. Golbat into G-Fisk. This is really not that great of a lead. So going to use an Empoleon on the safe swap. And because this Empoleon has the energy advantage, it's going to be able to get to this Drill Peck before the Venusaur can get to the Frenzy Plant. That's huge because able to get a shield out of the secondary matchup. And now Golbat is such a solid response to this Venusaur, going to be able to farm up a lot of energy. And hopefully Diggersby is going to be cleared for whatever's in the back since the Venusaur was baited out here. going to fully commit to the farm down against this Venusaur. The opponent does throw Sludge Bomb, which is the correct move because it's only single resisted. Now has a lot of energy loaded for this G-Fisk. The Shadow Ball is going to do about 50% damage there. Great damage. And actually going to throw this Poison Fang and see if the opponent is keeping good track of energy. They actually shield, worried that it was going to be a Shadow Ball, so really nice Poison Fang bait. Going to shield up the Rock Slide, building up to some energy there. Tried to catch a Rock Slide, but it did not work out, and it's a Pelipper in the back. This is not great. This Diggersby really struggles against Pelipper. These Mud Shots are double resisted, Fire Punch is single resisted. And Earthquake, which is the good move on Diggersby, the stab damage move, is double resisted. So really all you can do is just stay in here and chip away with these puny fire punches. Meanwhile, the opponent is really loading up on energy here because they know it's such a dominant matchup for Pelipper. You somehow need to preserve this Diggersby and then, yes, make a swap back into the G-Fisk. But the opponent was so smart with their energy management, they forced a CMP tie here. Golbat barely survives the Weather Ball and is going to be able to get off this Poison Fang, but it's not enough to take out the Pelipper. The defense has been dropped. Tried to Mud Shot down, but the opponent preserves that Pelipper. Slight over farm here before throwing the Fire Punch to have just enough energy to get to this. Oh my gosh, lag. Able to get to this Fire Punch before the Pelipper gets to the Weather Ball. Great energy management there. Good game. Up next, we have Dan Ottawa, who has been featured on this segment a bunch and is a YouTube content creator. Make sure to check him out. This is an absolutely terrible lead, and this is an absolutely terrible swap in. G-Fisk into Medicham, and then Pelipper into Bastiodon. So sometimes, depending on if the Bastiodon is XL or not, you can get a shield in this secondary matchup, and judging by how much damage these Weather Balls have done, the Bastiodon will have to shield up this next Weather Ball. So very smart shield here. Needs to start getting shields down so you have some play in the back. The opponent shields to maintain switch advantage because Medicham is so dominant against the G-Fisk, but going to be able to fully farm this down with the G-Fisk and then have a lot of energy to be able to threaten that Medicham when it comes back in. Definitely cannot commit the shield here, and thank goodness the Bastiodon is on the field so the Skarmory gets to avoid it. For sure the Medicham comes back in, going to chip it with this Earthquake here. And then actually continuing to stay in to get to another Earthquake to see what the opponent wants to do. Going to let this move go through and throw this Earthquake. They totally sack the Medicham, but in the back is a G-Fisk. Medicham double steal when you're running double flyers is really, really tough to handle. So has to let this Rock Slide go, but has to be very, very careful with the Switch Clock time management here to decide when you're going to throw the Brave Bird to be, and then be able to switch into the G-Fisk to clear the debuff. So you have to be very careful with your timing of when you're going to throw this Brave Bird. So farming, farming, farming. Here comes the Brave Bird. And the Switch Clock is perfectly up right there, able to clear the debuff and catch the move on this G-Fisk. But the opponent is able to get a farm down now and not able to get to another move. Air Slash goes through, has to shield this up. This Skarmory is barely outside of Rock Slide range and going to be able to Air Slash down this G-Fisk before the G-Fisk can Mud Shot down. Amazing plays, Dan. Very tough team to come back from. Good game. Up next, we have Trainer Joe 35. Swampert into Abomasnow. This is not good at all. Looks like we have double spiders in the back. So going to use the Galv safe swap on this first one and has an Ariados sitting in the back, which would be a better response to this Abomasnow. So went into the soft counter here. Shadow Abomasnow can actually win this matchup in the 2 shields if they decide to stay in, because the Weather Ball spam just outpaces this lunge damage here. So now they're going to switch into Sableye. So there is a good chance that they might have an Azumarill in the back. This is a fairly common team. Shadow Abomasnow, Sableye, and Azu. So the Galvantula is going to go down here. Going to bring out the Swampert. And very nice over farm here without getting hit by a foul play. Most likely that Abomasnow is going to be coming back in. Really needs to get to a Sludge Wave to either one-shot that Abomasnow or burn that last shield. So building up to the Sludge Wave. And then can you get out of here? Can you get into the Ariados to save the Swampert? No, it was a CMP tie. So this is going to be all on the back of the Spider in the back. Oh, but it was just a Weather Ball, so the Swampert survived. Going to throw this Cross Poison before the Abomasnow can react and throw a move. Down goes the Abomasnow. In the back is a Azumarill. Now look at this play right here. Goes for a lunge first. Even though this is resisted damage, because in the Zero Shield, this Hydro Pump would be lethal on the Ariados. But because of this attack debuff, able to survive the Hydro Pump. And then going to be able to get to 2 Cross Poisons here to take out this Azumarill. Really nice energy management there. And then going to be able to Mudshot it down with the Swampert. Very nice game there. Good game. Up next, we have Dave2121. Pelipper into Deoxys. So this is a fairly neutral lead, but if this Deoxys is running Thunderbolt, it will one-shot the Pelipper. This matchup is more dominant for Pelipper in the 2 shield. So actually going to let that Rock Slide go through. It has double Steel in the back. So it's really good that we're seeing this Deoxys here, but G-Fisk is a pretty decent response to this Deoxys as well, despite the counter damage hitting for super effective. Really nice energy management here, always forcing the CMP ties against this Deoxys to farm up as much as possible. Going to fully sack the Pelipper, anticipating that maybe Deoxys was going to be their best response to the Bastiodon in the back. And they actually bring out their own Pelipper here. So what I really like that Dave is doing here is forcing the CMP ties on all these moves to try to guarantee that no extra fast moves go through. So going to throw this Rock Slide. The G-Fisk has extra energy, so on this one, Dave is going to throw one before the Pelipper gets to the move and see where the opponent wants to commit the shields. Able to get an extra Mudshot through right there. Going to shield up that Weather Ball, and the opponent catches a Rock Slide on their G-Fisk in the back. Very nice play. Now this is really tough, because the opponent can just go straight for Rock Slide here, and there's a Bastiodon sitting in the back. You got to get rid of this G-Fisk. So goes for the Rock Slide bait, gets a fast move denial here. Successfully baits, and is barely able to get to this Earthquake at the last second to be able to take out the G-Fisk. What I love about this match is that Bastiodon hardly did anything. It just sat in the back and did a couple smackdowns to take out the Pelipper. Beautiful energy management there, Dave. Good game. Up next, we have Eat Crocages actually going up against Wallower here, who's another content creator. Shadow Flygon, and it is running Dragon Tail. Oh my gosh, those Dragon Tails are chipping away. And able to get to this Dragon Claw before the Altaria is able to get to move. Out comes Jellicent. This is a bubble Jellicent. Now, is this a Shadow Ball? Or is this an Ice Beam? It's an Ice Beam, and so the Shiftry gets one-shotted. That is really, really not good. But because it's a bubble Jellicent, going to bring out the Altaria here. The bubble damage is resisted, but really needs to get rid of this Jellicent, because Ice Beam would definitely take out this Altaria. Still has a Flygon to deal with. And Wallower has 2 shields. So actually the opponent brings out their own Qwilfish here, running Poison Sting. Aqua Tail is not enough to take out the Altaria, but going to store a move on the Altaria, going to store a Sky Attack and then mirror with their own Qwilfish here. So farming, going to go for an Aqua Tail. We get some unfortunate lag and then lose CMP. That is not great. But shields up the big move of Sludge Wave. What a call. Still has Flygon to deal with in the back. And the opponent still has a shield. So going to go for another Aqua Tail. Where does the final shield go? It goes right there. And then out comes the Flygon, able to get to another Aqua Tail before Flygon can get to a move. This Aqua Tail's enough to take out the Flygon, and then this stored energy with the Sky Attack is able to take out the Qwilfish. Very nice game. And here it is, folks, the top battle of the week submitted to me by one of my patrons, Stop Alcatraz. Let's jump right into this game. Really cool team of Shadow Nidoqueen and then Double Dragon in the back. So immediately catches a Mud Bomb on this Garchomp. Very nice energy management, and the Nidoqueen has a move stored. Hard punished by a Charmer, not even able to get to a move here. Absolutely terrible, but gonna bring out the Nidoqueen once again, and loses the CMP tie here. Very unfortunate. So has to shield this Weather Ball, and then goes for a no bubble Poison Fang to get more farm off of this A9 to have energy to threaten that Stunfisk when it comes back in. So out comes the Stunfisk, going to go straight for the Earth Power here. This would do a lot of damage, but it gets shielded. Not great. Farming, farming, farming. Another Mud Bomb catch, this time on a double resisted Pokemon. What a play. In the back is Alolan Marowak, and this is a Dragon Tail Shadow Dragonite. Absolutely chunking this Alolan Marowak here. Has to shield up this move. Correctly shields up the Shadow Bone. Big shield, and able to farm this all the way down. Going to throw the Dragon Claw onto this Stunfisk, and successfully gets the final shield. Goes for the Draco Meteor. Does this one-shot the Stunfisk? Amazing plays and very nice catches there. Great game. Thank you everyone for submitting your footage. I had more battles in this week because I wasn't able to do one of these segments last week. But thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content, and I'll see you all in the next video.